rolling.
Like, roll it.
I'm here for book chat.
Yeah, book chat day. This is going to be fun. So today we promised that we would review some books that I've been primarily listening to. You listened to 2 of them over our Christmas break, which was lots of fun.
Yeah.
So that'll be my 3rd time through those 2 books. Amazing. Those were by Roslyn Sinclair. Those will be the first 2 that we review.
And you thought that I wouldn't be interested in listening to the whole thing on Audible. So she went through and found the spicy bits and cataloged them so that I could just hear the spicy bits. But I said, no, I want to actually hear a story. I don't want to just hear
because you keep saying you don't have enough time.
Well, yes.
Yeah, so I did that so she could get up to speed.
But the thing with the Audible books is different than, I rarely use a Kindle or use Audible. I like to have a book in my hand. And I think the thing with Audible is you can take it almost anywhere.
Yep. I go for walks with it.
Yeah. I had it in the car when I was driving. I had it in the kitchen when I was cooking. I can't read a paperback and stir fry at the same time. No. So that'd be a hazard to your health. Mm-hmm. So I had the time.
Yeah.
So it was good.
It was. Mm-hmm. And I built the Lego car.
Oh, yeah.
While we listened to it. Had the time off. So I built the Lamborghini.
Yeah.
And finished that. Mm-hmm. That was fun. So now I'm relating these books to that car. So it's just a nice memory.
Yeah.
You think of something you were doing while you were listening to something that you really enjoyed. And so that's the Lamborghini. But
so what book are you going to start with? You have how many books that you're going to review today?
Good question. Because 7.
7 books? Okay,
yeah.
So it went from 5 to
7.
6. Now we're at 7 suddenly.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, because I saw this last one and I had to add it. We're going to do more of these because I just keep listening back-to-back books. And there are so many. I realize that a lot of the books that I'm reviewing today are by Harper Bliss. And all of these authors are fantastic. I didn't know I was gravitating towards, until I actually started looking at these, age gap.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, but I've listened to 30 something books now.
That's what
and
you're
they're
telling
not
me.
They're not all age gap.
Yeah.
So I'm not, just honing in on those. It just happens to be that's how it worked out. But
we have an age gap, but it's a very small age gap.
Yeah, you are 3 years younger than I am.
Yes, and that's
2 years and a few months. Let's get technical, please. Let's get
2.5. 2.5.
Yeah,
but that's the first time that's happened for you.
Yeah,
because you had large age gap.
My other partners were 9 and 10 years older than I was. Yeah, because I wanted experience. I wasn't.
And by the time I came around, she already had the experience, so we were good to go. Mm-hmm. And I was all over the place because I had one that was exactly the same age to the month, which was interesting. And then I had one 9 or 10 years older, and then one 5 years younger. 5 years younger. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I was all over.
Yep. I mean, don't know if I should say this, but now I can see dating somebody younger. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's not an option because I'm married.
I hope not.
Not an option.
That's the first I heard of it.
Not like I'm... God.
If I put a ring on it.
If I were single and somebody was so inclined, there's a lot of variables that have to come in here, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Somebody has to find you attractive first, right? But anyway, I can see dating younger people now. Whereas when I started out, I was attracted to older women. Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think for me, it's never changed. It's all over the place, and it still is.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, that's for another day.
I think
Today,
these women are fantastic all over. So
yeah,
yeah, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
It's the person.
it is the person, and
Yeah.
that's one of the points that we make about the books
Mm-hmm.
is that it's not just a romance and sex scenes, and it's the characters are great in these
The
books.
connection.
Yeah.
Yeah. You see that age gap is nothing because the connection between the two characters, they both have something that the other doesn't, and that complements one another, and they enrich each other's lives. So that's what you want in real life too. It doesn't really matter what age is.
So what have we on the first book here with Truth or Measure?
Vivian and Julia.
Julia.
Yeah. Absolutely love these two books. And I have notes because I didn't want to forget anything. Age gap. The books are written by Roslyn Sinclair and narrated by Abby Craden. She is one of my favorite narrators. And she has the ability to have so many different characters' voices.
Yeah. That's one thing I really like, because this is one that I listened to. And I liked how she goes from Vivian's very proper voice. It's sort of
Powerful,
deep, powerful.
Yeah.
And then Julia.
She calls her, Vivian refuses to call Jules, everybody else calls her Jules.
Yeah.
She refuses to call her Jules, she calls her Julia.
Yeah.
Because she wants to give her that distinction. She sees things in
because
Julia.
She's in her 20s.
She's in her, she's 26, and Vivian is going into her 40s.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or in her 40s.
So give her a little more sophistication, confidence.
Well, maybe. She sees how talented she is, and she's a advocate for taking your power and don't give it away to anyone else. She didn't get to where she is by doing that.
Right.
So Vivian is a well-known and powerful fashion editor of a fictitious magazine called Du Jour. And Julia is her assistant, personal assistant. And Vivian's in the throes of a divorce. Big surprise. She works a lot. And her husband couldn't stand it, and off he went with somebody else. And she finds out she's pregnant. She actually sends Julia to go and get the pregnancy kit. Yeah. And at this point, Julia is terrified a lot of the time of Vivian with it's justified because she's frightening. But she's very proficient at her job.
Yes.
So she knows Vivian's ins and outs, just everything she likes, how she wants it timed.
There's an oopsie.
How she wants it timed.
I'll get it.
And I need a thumbprint. So it's really interesting how we go from a dynamic of that, subordinate role. And some people might not like that, I understand. But it's done in such a way that Vivian is highly conscious of her not being her assistant. She's really worried about that. And any of the books that I review that I have listened to, if it's that kind of a role, they're done in such a sensitive way that they don't want the assistant or someone that's working for them to feel like they're being coerced or forced into anything. I think that's important to say. Otherwise, I wouldn't be reviewing it.
Yeah.
But so she finds out she's pregnant, and she's going. Vivian.
Right.
Yeah. And she's going to have the baby. And Julia does everything for her. She's even looking at prenatal books. She's getting all these things ready, not knowing that all the while she's starting to have feelings for Vivian. And that's the interesting part. She starts to realize that she actually wants to kiss her. And she's thinking, my God, what's going on? She wants to kiss this woman that she's been terrified of. But there's a lot of funny moments in it. Vivian's character is very controlled and powerful. But as we get to know her, she has a fierce loyalty, which I really admired.
Mhm.
And when she's on her personal side, if she loves somebody, she does anything for them
Mhm.
and protects them and everything else. So I thought that was a really interesting part of the book where you're seeing that part of her character just unfold.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I agree.
Julia is very much telling people who she is right from the start. She's such a bright and intelligent woman, but she's just like a ray of sunshine when she's going around, but not a pushover,
Mhm.
which I really like. She will stand up for herself.
Yeah.
And she does to Vivian multiple times, which Vivian really respects.
Mhm.
Even though she could have fired her, she won't do it.
No.
She will not fire her. She can't do without her. And then Vivian starts to realize why she can't do without her.
Mhm.
Because she's in love with her.
Oh.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it's I would say really slow burn. It takes a long while for them to actually come together.
Yeah, because
But it's worth it.
Because I thought, oh, she's giving me this book because she wants me to read some spicy literature.
5 out of 5 for spicy in
Yeah.
these 2 books.
And I'm like, I'm reading through the chapter after chapter. I'm like, where's the spicy bits? But,
So I asked, what chapter are you on?
yeah.
So and so. It's coming.
Yeah.
Just go off. It's coming.
So
You'll thank me later.
Think about it, building up the characters and everything. Not that you're going to get to the spicy right away.
No.
But
That was really, it's so well done.
Mhm.
So I think you really enjoy it. But again, 5 out of 5 for spice.
So that's Truth or Measure by
Mhm.
Roslyn Sinclair
And there's
and narrated by
Abby Creighton.
Abby Creighton.
Both books.
There we go.
Yeah.
So that's the first in the Carlisle series.
Yep.
And then
Then we go.
there's a number 2.
Number 2, Above All Things. So this is expanding their relationship. And Vivian is becoming more and more pregnant at this time. And just that journey for her.
I thought in the second book she would have the baby like right away, and
Mhm.
nope.
Well, it's really setting up the commitment between the 2 of them.
Mhm.
And it's showing Vivian that Julia doesn't have intentions of leaving.
Mhm.
She's serious about it. Yeah. So again, both books, 5 out of 5 for spicy. I would say you could even go into 6 and further, really, with these 2.
And I don't know because I haven't. And there's a third book in the series.
Yes, there is a third one, and I did actually buy it. I'll put a link to. I forget where I purchased it, but it's very short.
We don't have it here.
It's no, there's not a cover for it.
Oh, there's no cover. Okay.
And it's just a nice little cap of Vivian taking Julia to see Vivian's family in the Midwest. And she's taking, or they're taking their daughter to visit Vivian's family. And so I think it was, it was short. I would have loved to have had a little bit longer, but I think it caps it off.
I think it was in an anthology too, like not
It was.
not this 3-book series.
No.
Or 2.5 book, but in some other anthology.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was nice. I found it and I was glad I read it. It's very short. It's just a number of pages.
Yeah.
But gives you an idea of where they were headed.
So there you go. Book 2 in the series, Carlisle series by Roslyn Sinclair, Above All Things.
Mm-hmm.
And what do we have next on our list?
Swipe the Screen.
Swipe the Screen to Mistakes Were Made.
By Meryl Wilsner. Yeah. 5 out of 5 spicy for this one too.
Oh boy. And now this is all on Lisa because I have not read these.
Another age gap.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Big surprise. So the narrators are Quinn Riley and Stephanie Nemeth Parker.
2 narrators.
Yeah.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Really well done. Again, I haven't found really any of the books that I've been listening to where the narrators have not been
Really good.
Just really good.
Mm.
But the narrators for this one, really well done. It covers the relationship between Aaron and Cassie. So I brought my notes again, just because I don't want to miss anything. And then we're editing this, and it's like, oh, I should have said that. So I'm not going to do that with these. So Aaron is in her 40s, almost 40, so late 30s. And Cassie is 21 and a college senior. So interesting, the book starts off with Cassie visits a bar in her local town. It's a college town.
It sounds like a bad joke.
Once upon a time. And it's family weekend at the college. And Cassie doesn't have an attentive mother, never did. In fact, she left home at an early age because she just wasn't cared for. So, extremely intelligent. She is going to go into aeronautics. And so she's studying for that, sending fast things into space. So she's going to university, and parents' weekend at college. So Cassie is not going to stick around for that. So she goes to a bar, and she meets Aaron from across the room. She sees this beautiful woman and buys her a drink. Then they meet, and right away it jumps right into the
spicy bits.
Spicy bits. I won't ruin it for you and tell you where, but it's pretty good, and but there's a really cool twist in this book, in that they have this connection. Aaron drives Cassie back to her campus. She finds out it's the same campus that her daughter goes to. So Aaron's daughter goes to this same school.
Mm-hmm.
So she's pretty uncomfortable at this point, and she's at that, she is asking her, are you a senior? She's hoping, right?
Master's student.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she does confirm that she's of age,
Mm-hmm.
and, but just barely there. And so, but she can't regret it. Aaron can't regret it because there is a connection there. But she's going to try and ignore it. That was one night, and off she goes with her life. So the next day, Aaron's daughter, Parker, who is, I think in the book, a year and a bit younger.
I think I remember you saying that. Yeah.
And Parker is rooming with Cassie's best friend. Parker lives with her best friend in one of the dorms. And so they're all best friends. And Parker said, my mom is really intense. Can you come and be a buffer? We're going to breakfast. Come and be a buffer. So
Okay.
Cassie says, okay, fine, I'll do it. And she actually says in the book, oh, remind me not to be a freshman's friend because they're kind of immature or something like this. And she shows up at the restaurant, and the mother is Aaron. So they navigate the breakfast really well. But Aaron, they both realize that there's still something there. It's not just a one-night thing. Parker wants her best friend, Cassie, to join them at Christmas at Aaron's house. So Aaron buys a plane ticket for everybody, and she shows up at the house for Christmas. They can't keep their hands off of each other.
So that's
that book.
Mistakes Were Made, Meryl
Wilsner.
Wilsner, and narrated by...
Oh, the two narrators, Quinn Riley and Stephanie Nemeth Parker.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, and on to the next one. Swipe.
If You Kiss Me Like That, Harper Bliss.
Oh, kiss me like that.
Oh, this is another good one. I had to give it 5 out of 5.
Yeah.
I
All
don't
of them
know
so
if
far are 5 out of 5.
I think they all are, really.
Because you've chosen books that you really, really like.
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah. There are some slow burn ones that when they finally get around to the connection, for me, there just wasn't enough there. There wasn't enough of a build up, and I didn't really feel that, oh my God, I can't wait for them to be close.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I left some of those out, and some people might really enjoy them. It just wasn't for me. So that's why I didn't and I don't like to say anything bad about it. I mean, this is people's art. And so I don't want to say something either, because this takes a lot of work to flesh out these characters and do it so well. And I'm not, just because I tend to like spicy books.
Lately, anyway.
So if it doesn't, when they finally get together, if there's not a really intense kind of thing going on there, I'm disappointed. It's
kind of like movies too. Like you watch a movie, there's so many movies where it's about meeting the person and then, oh, they don't like each other at first. Oh, and then they are falling in love with this person that they don't like. And then you get to like the last 5 minutes of the movie and they finally kiss or
and then the credits roll.
And then that's it. And you're like, that's it? That's all I get?
Really?
I just spent 2 hours watching this and I get one kiss.
Yeah.
We want more.
We do.
Yes.
Yep. And that brings me to this question. I would love to see these books made into movies.
As far as we know, none of these are.
Yeah. No.
Somebody else said that too.
I think so.
We were looking at some other reviews, and they said this would be a great movie, and it's one of these lesbian romances.
I mean, it's to get the actors to play it. It would probably have to be on a private network or something. I don't know how that works, but
these days, though, there's all sorts of stuff.
But it's funny, you can show on all the major streaming. You can show gratuitous violence.
Yeah,
and and some of it's just disgusting.
Yeah, people slicing off each other's heads and blood splurting everywhere. But you can't have two people making love.
But you can't have two women or two men doing it.
No, but you can't even have a man and a woman in mainstream stuff.
There's some pretty intense movies out there.
Yes.
Yeah. That show a lot.
But on TV, they're going to cut out stuff. I mean, you can go to a movie
theater. I'm talking
theater.
about the streaming services.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So I don't know, but because I don't go and actually actively look for them. But I've seen, there's even, I mean, the things that they show that they think are okay. But it's not okay to show two women having a relationship and eventually they end up being intimate. That's a problem.
Yeah.
But violence and just horrific things that are feeding people's minds with what we don't need in this world, in my opinion.
Yeah. And the other thing you were saying too is similar with movies as well as these books is that these books end well.
All of the books that I've been listening to, they all end happily.
Yeah.
And for years, like when we were younger, it just seems like all the movies or books that we read, they ended up not staying together, and you see a smoky scene and the one's walking away from the other one and that's the end of it, and they're both unhappy. And
there was a Canadian documentary about lesbian fiction, and it was from like the 1960s, 1970s, and how women would go to the bookstores and they'd flip through the bookstores and look for the cover that might have two women on it. But it was always like, one of them realizes this is the wrong way to live and she kills herself, or there's an accident and they die, and so they never really get together, and it's always tragic. Thank goodness we have books like these now.
These authors.
that shows that we don't have to have a tragic life. We can have a married life, and we're going about our business, and we're, shopping together and eating dinner together,
vacationing and
helping each other out, going to get a root canal. And
well, and you know that they're going to grow older together in these books.
Yeah.
And be happy with one another. And that's the message that we should be sending out.
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it actually happens in real life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not all queer lives are tragic.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we have some tough stuff because of some other people making it tough for us most of the time.
But there's a norm. I mean, we're just living life like everyone else.
Yes.
And that's what these books bring out.
Yeah.
Is it's a love story that unfolds like a lot of other love stories.
So,
Yeah.
how is this love story?
Only
If you
more
kiss
exciting
me,
because it's two women.
Yes. If you kiss me like that.
Yes. So Harper Bliss. The narrator is Carmen Rose.
If you haven't heard of Harper Bliss, she has written a ton of books.
Yeah, very prolific. So this is about Gloria. She's 54. Ash or Ashley, she's 42. Gloria, the older woman, is widowed years before. I think her husband died of cancer. And she was left raising her two daughters alone in a small village outside of London. And her whole life is there. Just, living that life. She was the widow in the village. Attractive, like they describe her as beautiful woman. But she dated a bit, but she just never connected to another guy. She loved her husband. There's an interesting thing that happens, though. She loved her husband, but she never had that spark and didn't know why until she meets Ash. And Ash, or Ashley, is recently divorced from her wife. Ash was a workaholic, and that became a problem in her marriage. So she's blaming herself a bit for that and just says she's never going to get married again, isn't going to have a relationship, and she just dives into work. So Gloria and Ash meet again at Ash's mother's birthday party. And so Gloria and Ash end up dancing together, one dance, and there's definitely a spark there. Yeah. So there's a lot of topics coming out as a bisexual at a later age. So that's interesting. And they do touch on alcoholism. If that's a problem for some of our viewers, then be forewarned. How is Gloria going to tell Ash's parents, who she's known for decades, that she's in love with their daughter? And how is she going to live in this small town that has a lot of gossip in it? How is she going to be that woman that took, their daughter away, right? Even though she's 42 and divorced and fully capable of deciding whether or not she wants to be in a relationship with this woman. So I enjoyed Gloria's path to discovering that she is bisexual and accepting who she is and just enjoying that process with the guilt on the side because she was imposing it on herself. It turns out well.
Good.
But it's what we think others are going to think of us. That sometimes it doesn't work out that way.
So there you go. If you kiss
me like that. Harper Bliss. Narrated by Carmen Rose. And that was a 5 out of 5.
And next we have, it looks like Summertime, A Family Affair, again by Harper Bliss.
Family Affair.
And narrated by?
Abby Craden. Oh my God, if you haven't heard her voice, wait until you do. Yeah. Amazing. Another age gap. Now, I did give this a 4 out of 5 out of spicy.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, I still really enjoyed this one. And it is Kate, and she is a interior designer in LA, married to Kevin, I think his name is. They were going through fertility, the fertility path, and it didn't turn out well. And so it's put a strain on their marriage. How he's coping with it is he is tearing the house apart that they lived in and redesigning it. That's what they do. They're architects. And he's ignoring Kate. And just can't talk about it, and which happens to some people with grief, and just can't talk about it. But in the meantime, she's drifting further and further away. So she ends up going and staying at his mother's house. She has a pool house. So she goes and she moves in there. Stella is Kevin's sister. And Kate's in her 40s, Stella's in her 30s. And Stella is an actress, and she's preparing for I keep forgetting that word. Why am I forgetting that word in the last couple of days?
Oh, audition.
Audition. It happened last night too. It's like, it's not an interview.
It's an audition for
It's an audition.
an actor.
And so she's preparing for this audition. Kate has always seen Stella as a sort of spoiled and self-absorbed and just very much her little bubble. And they haven't really spent a lot of time together. And even though she's known her for so many years, that she's married to her brother. And one night, after, I think it was tequila, if I'm not mistaken, they end up sleeping together. I'll stop there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's sort of a short discussion, but that is, another age gap, 4 to 5. And
So A Family Affair, by another one by Harper Bliss.
Yeah, and narrated by Abby Creighton.
Awesome. And I don't know what number we're on right now. If this is 5, 6.
And these were 2 authors that I just found. The cover looked a bit like the older romance sort of.
It does
things.
a bit, yes.
And so I was thinking, how is this going to go? And no offense to the person who did the artwork, I'm sorry. But some of the other books, we have this new style, right? And this style especially
is
very
in right
popular.
now. Yeah.
Even in the heterosexual books, like these books, they're very much similar to that. So when I came across this, it was like, okay, I'm still going to do it because I had really good reviews. And I'm so glad I did, because now I want to look at more of their books. The 2 of them
who's
writing,
it by?
T.B. Markinson and Miranda MacLeod. And I understand
2 authors.
Yeah. And I understand they knew each other when they were younger, and then when they met as adults, they realized they're both authors, and then they decided to collaborate. I think I read that. Or I'm just making it up. No, I think I read it. Because I wanted to know more about them. Yeah. But they put out some humor into the book as well, and I really enjoyed it. And who better than Laurie Prince as the narrator? Another narrator that I just absolutely love. And she has, again, amazing ability to bring out the different characters. But her sense of humor, and you can just see it, just the lilt in her voice when she's saying these things, it's just perfect. Yeah, she is just a joy to listen to.
That's an extra little tidbit that you're going to get when you listen to an Audible book versus reading it yourself. I mean, different experiences, but you're going to, and it's different than a movie too, because the movie is full visuals. This, you're getting some, I don't know.
You're still making it up in your mind.
Yeah.
Not like a movie where it's just force-fed to you.
But you are given voices. Although it's interesting because often you have one narrator, and so she's doing male voices, female voices, old, young, people from different countries.
Yeah. And they're just I would love to watch somebody narrate a book and just sit and listen. Yeah, that would just that would be really cool to do. So again, 5 out of 5. It's a little bit of a slow burn, but worth it. Yeah. And it's it's between Juliana. She's a video game designer.
Oh, that's
different. Me being in web design and everything, I thought it was kind of cool. A woman in tech.
Yeah.
So she's divorcing her husband because he's a total jackass. and Sadie. And Sadie is a young woman that grew up in the foster care system. And so she had that experience, aged out of it, so nobody wanted her. So she sort of carries a bit of that. But at the same time, she is high energy, so caring, very efficient at her job, and it turns out she works for a nanny agency. So Juliana, the video game designer, her father talks to her one day and says, I'm putting your niece on a plane and you're going to have to take care of her. Your mother can't do it anymore. She has eye issues and health issues. We can't do it.
Listen to this.
So, but there's a lot of humor in this. And the little girl, Sadie teaches her something. She teaches her something, and it's just like, instead of I'm gonna kick your ass, it's like I'm gonna kick your buttocks. I just love that. So it's just that humor, and I'm never gonna think about that phrase again another way. I'm going to use that. I think it's just funny.
We'll probably use it in our daily life.
Yeah, you're going to beat somebody at something. I'm going to kick your buttocks. Yeah, I like that.
All right, so Pieces of Us by 2 authors. Book,
The
Seasons
last one
of Love.
And guess who it's by?
Harper Bliss.
Harper Bliss. And it's not intentional that they're all age gaps. It's really not. It's just what I really enjoyed. And
narrated by
Carmen Rose.
Carmen Rose.
Okay. And again, another British narrator. And yeah, I enjoyed it. Alice, she's in her 40s, and Joy is in her late 20s. So late 40s and late 20s.
So like a 20-year age gap.
Yep.
Maybe.
Yeah. And Alice is a solicitor in the UK, and she has her law business or law practice with her best friend that she's known for many years, Miranda. And she's a workaholic, divorced. Again, the job got in the way, and the husband just went off. Alice takes Miranda's suggestion to go to her villa in Portugal to have a vacation, because she never takes a vacation. She just works like, I don't know, ridiculous hours a week. Joy is in her late 20s, has gone to college in the US and come back, has had relationships with older women in the past. One was her boss at one time. Didn't work out. She ended up losing her job. And yeah, just floating around, but she's in between jobs. She's going to go and take a couple of weeks off, go on vacation, and then she starts her new job. She asks if she can join Alice while she vacations at the villa that Joy has grown up going to. But would it be too much of an imposition to share the house? Joy or Alice wants to say no. Finally has a vacation out of the UK, and she has to share it with a 20-year-old, right? So she can't say no because it's Miranda's house. So she says yes, reluctantly, and Joy shows up, immediately starts taking off her clothes because that's what they do there, apparently. And she finds out her colleague Miranda does go around scantily clad in Portugal at their house, swimming and enjoying the sun and everything else. But Alice is really uptight and doesn't want to stare. So she goes into the house and starts reading her book. And then they start to talk more and understand one another. And Joy is very much on the edge of things and gets her out of her comfort zone in a lot of ways. And but Alice doesn't think of herself as bisexual. Never attracted to a woman until now. Yeah. And yeah, I thought it was, I think it's a 5 out of 5 for Spice. I really enjoyed it. You get that feel of being in Portugal, and they go on a little excursion together, and yeah, just cooking for one another. It's nice. I think it would be a great book to read or listen to on summer vacation. So that wraps us up for 7 books.
So there we go. We got Seasons of Love, Pieces of Us, A Family Affair, If You
Kiss Me Like That.
Kiss Me Like That, Mistakes Were Made, Above All Things, and Truth or Measure.
Truth and Measure.
Oh, Truth and Measure, sorry.
Book 1 and 2 by Roslyn Sinclair.
So
yeah,
head out to your local bookstore or...
Well, they're Audibles. I mean, you can't, I think you can, yeah, you can get them in paperback. Yep. But
or Audible.
I really like actually, you can get them here in Canada. I've been able to get them both on Spotify if you have a Spotify account, although they only give you so many hours in your month. Whereas with Audible, you can just buy more credits if you need them. So you can get them both places here. I don't know if Apple does that, Apple Music. I don't know. I don't have that. But yeah, so if you're in between, you already have a Spotify account, see if they are on your Spotify account.
Yeah.
And then you can
and if you've never tried listening to a book, if you always just read it yourself, because I haven't done it a whole lot. I have done it before, but not a whole lot. Give this a try. It's a whole new entertainment experience.
Yeah.
It's, and what I like about it is that you can do it in other places that you can't normally read a paper book.
Yep.
So,
and just the immersive nature of it.
Yeah.
I mean, I enjoy reading, immensely, but yeah, there's just something about this.
Yeah.
It just really, it's all encompassing.
Yeah. I guess we could say like you can't read a book and drive a car. People frown on that. But be warned that you could be driving a car and listening to these books, and the spicy parts might get you a little distracted.
I've been out on my walk and it's like, okay, I need to stop this and just listen to my music. Listen to it when I get home.
Yes.
Yeah.
Be careful out there. Yes. With the spicy bits. Yeah. So thank you, Lisa, for...
That's my first book review. I've never reviewed books.
Well done.
Yeah.
Yeah, very well done.
I enjoyed it. Yeah.
So thank you for listening at Lisa and Tiana's Book Chat.
Book Corner.
Audible edition.
Lesbian Book Corner.
Not sponsored by Audible or any of the books.
No.
It's just
our channel isn't sponsored.
No.
Everything we show on our channel right now
it's just because
things that we use, things that we buy.
Yep.
Yep.
But we would be happy to, if anybody wants to send anything our way, if we would look at it and possibly review it. You never know.
Yeah, if you find if you have some books that we haven't had a chance to review yet, then we will do that. And if I haven't read them yet or listened to them, then I will do it again. There a few of these I've listened to twice just so that I could do this review.
All of these you've listened to twice.
Well, the first 2 I've listened 3 times.
Oh, 3. Okay.
Yep. And the rest of them I sped them up a little bit so I could get through, because I wanted to get this out to everyone sooner rather than later, because we said we would. Yeah. And I didn't want to go into the new year without doing something fun like this.
Yeah. And with the other, again, we've put out 2 videos this weekend, and the other one is a very serious video, so we wanted to do something fun. And because we are doing the 2 videos, something a little easier so that we're not editing a whole bunch of us walking in the woods and things, which can take a lot of time to edit. That's why we thought we would do this today. So if you've enjoyed this, thank you so much for listening. And if you do want a little insight into some of Lisa's life and struggles, there is the other video that we've also put out, and we would love for your comments on that. And hopefully we've put it out there to help people.
Yeah.
So Thank you for watching. See you in 2 weeks.
Okay. Bye, everybody. Happy listening and reading.
Yes. Next one. No,
Look who it's from.
This is the last one.
Yep.
Harper Bliss. Another Harper Bliss.
Age gap. I think we just put this in the title, Age Gap Lesbian Romances.
Didn't set out for that.
No, I
to look
didn't.
for that. No.
I did not.
So this is Seasons of Love.
Yes, by Harper Bliss. And it is
Narrated.
narrated by,
Does it say on there? No.
and I forgot to write it down.
Oh no.
Hold on.
Uh-oh.
Hold on. I'm sorry. Oh boy. Okay, we'll redo this one.
To do a quick Google search. Not to order pizza.
No, we're not ordering pizza.
No. Although I am
No.
getting hungry.
Carmen,
Big surprise.
Okay. All right. So let's start this again. Okay.